How's it going, everybody? Michael Gomez, real estate broker and owner at Hive Nashville. And I'm very excited to be with you today, especially because we're going to be talking about a subject that I'm super interested and passionate about, which is short-term rental acquisitions, or Airbnb, VRBO, however you want to call it. So I'm here with a lot of my agents in my brokerage, and we're all going to learn together on how to find these deals, things to watch out for, and then ultimately analyze the deal to make sure that it's going to be a good or decent investment. So one of the first things we're going to do is we are going to go to my friend's website at biggerpockets.com. That's biggerpockets.com. And I would love it if you guys create a free account. Eventually it'd be great if you become a paid subscriber also, which I am one, and I love it. It's been a podcast and a resource that's been extremely helpful to me. David Green and Brandon Turner has just been pouring out real estate knowledge with all their partners for years that we've been super blessed by being able to learn from that. So go over there and support what they have going on. You're gonna get more from them than they're gonna get from you. Let me put it that way. So over there at Bigger Pockets, once you create a free account or any account, you're gonna be able to go to the tools section of it. And there they're gonna have a rental property calculator. They also have a fix and flip, BRRRR, rehab, and all that stuff. But for today, let's just focus on the rental property, because most of the things that we're gonna need are gonna be here. Now we're gonna put this aside, and we're gonna talk a little bit about where do we find these deals, what do we need to be careful about, how do we make sure that once you close, you're gonna be able to do Airbnb. And I'm gonna focus on the local Nashville market. But everybody that's looking at me right now, you want to make sure that you find an agent or a broker that really knows everything that's going on with the legislations and the restrictions and things like that. You want to be able to do things the right way. One of the reasons why we should invest in real estate is to be able to have peace of mind, not wondering if one day the city or anybody's going to come and take away our permit because we're doing something that we shouldn't have done, like having an Airbnb in a residential zoning next to family of kids are gonna get mad at you because now you have this Airbnb and people banging on doors at 2 in the morning and things like that. There's zonings for that. So you wanna be able to play by the rules. That's my advice as your friend and broker. Right now, you want to make sure two things: that the zoning is good for short-term rentals. Normally, commercial zonings and high-density zonings are good for this, but you want to double check. Here in Nashville, it's not very hard to find which zonings are allowed. If you just Google short-term rental zonings Nashville, eventually you'll find the Metro Nashville website that should be updated, and you can check everything there. However, every time I get a property under contract, whether it's for myself or one of my clients, during the initial inspection period, which I always get, even if we're gonna be able to buy as is, just so that we can have an out if needed. During that time, I email Metro Codes and I ask specifically about that property. Does this property qualify for a non-owner occupant short-term rental? And they'll reply. It could take a day or two, but normally within those 7 days, you'll be able to hear back from them, and then you'll know 100% from them in writing that this property as of that day. Yes, there are chances that rules can change in the middle of the deal. So I always add to that email, are there any pending legislations for this particular area? Because you just never know. And it's not their fault. If you close, let's say on a Monday and last Friday, a new law passed in that zoning, you're not gonna most likely be able to go back and say, hey, can you let me in because I closed? They're very strict. I don't really know why. They say a hotel lobbyist or different district council persons and whatnot, but that's a whole different story. So you want to be able to check on that. Second hurdle that you could have is the HOA. I have clients from all over the country that every now and then just go to Zillow and send me this amazing looking condo downtown and say, this is the one, Mike, this is the one we need. This is perfect for Airbnb. And then immediately I write back, said, hey, I'm sorry, this complex does not allow Airbnb. It's written on the HOA. The owners got together and said, we don't want this type of activities over here. And they're in their right, they probably voted, and no Airbnbs over there. So not everywhere that looks like it should be is going to be. That's where I'm going with it. So there's a group of brokers and agents in every city that most likely will dominate the Airbnb market. It doesn't mean that there's going to be agents that are not necessarily in that like very tight circle, but you want to be able to find who those agents and brokers are, and you want to get into their email list or something like that in case they have a development coming up. Also, if you're working with an agent that has never done an Airbnb purchase, I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying that immediately ask them to get educated. This is not going to be a regular real estate transaction, and you want to be able to make sure that you're going to be able to make money. Because, you know, last I checked, you're not here to lose money, and hopefully not just to break even. So you want to make sure that they know how to analyze these deals. And this is where we're going right now. I'm going to go to this unit, and if you can't see the screen, that's right, I'm going to tell you the address right now. And we are in the month of September of 2022. And if you Google 1027 East Trinity Lane, number 4 in Nashville, Tennessee, an Airbnb allowed or short-term rental unit that's listed there, fully furnished, is for sale right now. A few months back, that would have lasted 1 day in the market. Right now, they're probably going to get an offer or two like pretty soon. But this unit will sell, and most likely where they have it at. So this unit is $750,000. This unit was bought probably in the high threes. As a matter of fact, after I started analyzing, I realized that I sold this unit to the owner that's selling it with another agent. It's all right. It happens. No harm done. I've never called him back after I sold this unit, so that's on me. Hey, keeping it real, y'all. So I know this unit very well. I sold several in this complex, and when I go to the MLS, a couple things happen. First, you can see a projection in the bottom, which you will not be able to see here in the screen, but there is a pro forma by a really good company called Goodnight Stays. This is very common that when you list an Airbnb, you're gonna put pro formas. Okay, that's all great. But what you should be really asking for are the past 12 months or even 24 months of actual short-term rental operation. That is, my friends, where the truth lies. This is basically a company, and they're really good, again, that they're saying, hey, this is what this unit should be making. Maybe if they manage it, because they're really good and, you know, fully furnished and all that stuff. They're saying in this pro forma that the annual gross collection should be around $110,000. I can tell right now, there's no way in helium, no way in heck that this unit is gonna bring that much money. I know it well. I know that street. It's a 3-bedroom. It's a really nice unit. But if I would have to guess, I think you're gonna be more in the 75 to 85 kind of range. But I didn't stop there because I know a couple of the owners there. I texted yesterday a couple of the owners, hey, how's your unit doing? One of them said 65, the other one said 85, so I knew I was right there. Many things can be different when why 2 units in the same complex can make such a difference. One is like, you know, how good is your manager? Are you self-managing? How good is your furniture? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How aggressive are you with prices? Are you doing a really good homework on the pricing, et cetera? So, you know, my point with this whole thing is, yes, look at the projections, but please do not buy based upon those things. That would be great. I would be selling way more if I would tell everybody that, hey, here are the projections, go ahead, sell. I like to be more on the conservative side. So I'm gonna use, instead of 110 gross, I'm gonna use 85,000 to be very safe in this particular unit. Now, I did notice that it's zone decorated really nice. It's got wallpapers, all kinds of cool things. Again, 1027 East Trinity Lane. I do know that there's not a covered garage in this unit, so it's an open garage. You have a garage, but it's not like enclosed, which I think would add a little bit more revenue. People would feel more safe if their cars are over there in the covered garage. So the things that you want to look for in order to be able to analyze, of course, is the sales price together with taxes, insurance, utilities, property management, HOA. I think that's all I have over there. Anything else? Well, we'll say utilities, and that includes internet and all that stuff. So, and of course, how much do you think by doing the diligence that unit's gonna make? In this case, 85,000. So here we can tell the HOAs are 400,000. Taxes is 4820. That number is going to change a little bit because I'm sure that was based upon probably the sales price or what it was like last year estimated by the city. So maybe add $1,000 to that and say, like, you know, 52 taxes. But let us go now to the Bigger Pockets website that I was mentioning, and let's go and start analyzing this property. You go to start new report. Once you're under tools, you went to tools and you went to rental property, and now we can put the address, which said 1027 East Trinity Lane in Nashville, and it's unit 4. Not that it matters much. Okay, and zip code, don't even worry about that. Next, purchase, and they have it at $750. Let's say that you have to go full price because you're gonna have some competition. $750,000 purchase closing cost. I normally like to estimate about 3%. So that would put us at, that would be including title. 750 times 2.03, so 22.5. That sounds a little bit high. It's probably gonna be about 17,000 bucks. So let's do 17,000 instead. Okay, we keep coming down, and next to the loan details. Well, I always like to say, I used to say that 20% would be great, but because the interest rates are a little bit high, I'm going to analyze this one saying 25% down. Now, notice a few things. You can buy this property as a second home. That means that you could buy it with 10% down if you don't live in Davidson County. And sometimes I've even seen it, I don't ask, but some lenders have figured out how to get a second home even in the same county. But let's say that you're out of state, or that you live in a different county. You could do 10% down with a little bit of a preferred rate. But what's going to happen is that your mortgage payments are going to be a little bit high, and you might not have much cash flow. So for the sake of that, I'm going to use 25% down and see. And again, I don't know what this is going to spit out. I'm just going to start there. If the cash flow is pretty decent, maybe we analyze it with 20% down, or you mess with it and do a 10%, a 20%, and a 25% and see how it goes. Interest rate, let's use 6.5. I think today, right now might be 6.7, but let's say that the average is going to be 6.5 right now, and let's use that. Again, it might be a little bit more, it might be a little bit less, but let's do that, and let's do a 30-year loan opposed to an ARM, which again, you could lower the interest rate by getting a 10-year ARM. Nothing wrong with that, honestly, if you feel like you want to kind of chance being able to eventually refi to a lower rate. I would probably do that. So it wouldn't hurt to find out what the 10%, the ARM rate would be, and analyze this also with that. We're using 20% down ARM in 20 years, 10 years, I mean. Gross monthly income, we said that this is going to bring 85,000 gross. So we divide that by 12, and it's about $7,000. So we're going to say this is going to bring $7,000 average a month. That means some months you're going to bring a little bit more, some months you're going to bring a little bit less. But let's say that this is what this unit is going to do if everything goes well. Maybe not even year one. So keep that in mind. Year one, you might be, it's like starting a new business. You might be a little bit on the lower side of things, but we're going to keep that 7,000 there for the sake of this particular experience here. Property taxes, it was like 4,800 bucks or 42. Let me go back to the MLS. Said it was 48, so let's say that they're going to be 58 to do that. Annual 5,800. And insurance, I'm pretty sure the HOA here covers some of that, so let's say it's going to be 120 bucks a month. And now you have your property taxes, you have your insurance. Repairs and maintenance, I honestly personally don't mess with this here. Some people want to put a percentage there. I don't, but you could if you wanted to. Vacancy, again, is just a number that I don't use. It used to be very popular back in the day, but we've seen vacancy rates are very minimal. Might help you if you have a regular rental, but I always say if you have a regular rental and it's priced correctly and it's clean, you're always going to have a renter in there for top dollar, for as much as you can rent it. So I don't use that. Management fees, I'm gonna do 20% here because that's what most management companies charge to manage a short-term rental. Keep in mind that that's like a day-to-day job. It's not just like a regular rental where you place a tenant and you kind of forget about it until they call because the water heater went out. This is more hands-on. This is more like day-to-day, and you want to make sure that unless you have the time or your cash flow is really tight and you still want the unit, those are the only reasons where I wouldn't have a manager. Or because you want to learn how to do it yourself, which some of my clients do, and they start the first 6 months doing it themselves, and then they call me and say, hey, can you please recommend me a property management that's really good. So electricity, we're gonna say about $125 a month. I do recommend having Nest thermostats, so you can, like, when you have vacancies, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you can control the electricity or just have it set up automatically, because a lot of times, like, they're just gonna leave it cranking and the cleaners are not necessarily paying attention to that. So if you have that, you kind of have control a little bit on that expense. So gas, I'm gonna leave at 0, but let's say $40 for the sake of this pro forma. Water and sewer, let's say $50. HOA fees are $200 in this development a month. Garbage is included. So now you have everything that you need to be able to finish the analysis. I'm going to click on finish analysis, and then I'm going to go up to the top of the page, and the monthly cash flow is $1,026 a month. That is including 20% management fee. If you take that, we can go to edit, and we can go ahead and in the expense part, take away that 20% and take it to 0 and update the analysis. We're gonna come up with $2,426 a month. So it's very substantial to have or not to have a property manager. So it's just gonna have to do with your investment strategy, whatever you feel like you wanna do. So another few things that we can mess around is, let's see, let's go and say that is $6,500 a month opposed to $7,000. So we're gonna go ahead and mess around with that a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna put the interest rate at 6.7 now, and I'm gonna say that we make less money. So $6,500 a month, which is times 12, 78,000, and then we're gonna update. So we have now interest rate of 6.7, and we have less income, and we update the analysis, and we go back up, and yeah, 1,852 cash flow. Not bad. It's just a 10.86 cash on cash ROI. Also, the Bigger Pockets calculator will tell you how much cash you need to bring in to close. A couple good things to keep in mind is that this particular unit is furnished, but a lot of times you'll buy a new one, so you'll have to probably add a good 30 to 40,000. I could say 20,000, but I feel like nowadays you want your short-term rental to look like an amazing, like, posh boutique hotel in Soho, New York. If you want to compete, if you want people to just not say, hey, we came to Nashville and stayed at a nice Airbnb who was in a good location, you could say we stayed at the cutest, most amazing, or like the sickest, like, Airbnb that we've ever stayed in. Now it's memorable, and those reviews are going to come in at a really good rate. So overall, I could recommend this unit to my clients. I mean, remember, the pro forma from the property manager came in at $110,000 a year. I'm using $65,000 a year of income gross. I'm using 6.7 interest rate. We saw the two examples of 20% between the property management fee or not the property management fee. And what else did we use? I mean, that's about it, honestly. This should help you learn how to analyze your own deals. Again, the advice of a good property manager, the advice of a good real estate agent that knows that market, that, you know, that even owns maybe a unit or two, wouldn't hurt. And that's about it. That's what we have right now. Again, Michael Gomez with Hive Nashville. We specialize in building rental portfolios, in development, land to multifamily, to short-term rentals. We have an in-house designer. We speak many languages, and we're here to serve you from wherever you're looking at. We will never tell you to buy something if we don't think it's a good deal. So hivenashville.com, Michael Gomez Broker. You can follow me in all social media. And thank you all so much. Appreciate you stopping by.